Why I love Vrindavan. This is a very personal story, why I love Vrindavan. Essentially it's because my Lord gave me Vrindavan in a very special way. I was born in England, and I was born right in the middle of England, Leicestershire, the most furthest point from the sea. So the people in this county, when we have our summer holidays, the schools are on vacation, we generally go to the seaside because it's a novel experience for us. We don't see the seaside any time, so it's an opportunity to go. So from the age of 3, my parents would take me to the seaside. I was the oldest child. My sister was then 2 years younger, and my brother was 5 years younger. So from the age of 3, I would remember these pastimes of going to the seaside, going to these wonderful places of the sea. We'd make sandcastles, we'd play on the beach, and there'd be amusement parks. And there's so many people to go there, and there'd be attractions there, theatre, shows, like they have acrobatic shows, planes flying around. There'd be different festivals like this. So I gradually developed this desire. I want to live in a place like this. I want to live in a famous place where people are coming. And as we grew older, when I was 6 years old, then my parents bought a caravan. So a caravan is like a small home on wheels. It is pulled by the car. First caravan was only 12 feet long. But I was 6 years old, my sister was 4, and my brother was just a baby. So we would then go in the caravan. So then we would stay in a campsite near the seaside for 2 weeks. And then we got older. When I was 16, we were still in this caravan. It was a little bit bigger, but we were all together. It was nice. It was cozy, a family atmosphere. So then my parents said, well, okay, now we'll go to Europe. We'd go from England over the Channel, and we visited places like Paris, and we went to Switzerland. We went to another year. We went to Italy. We went to Rome and Florence. We saw so many famous big cities, and I was very attracted. There's wonderful artifacts in these cities, wonderful museums, wonderful paintings. And people on the streets, they're performing their artistic abilities. You can have your portrait painted, your sculpture made. And there's so many people coming. So I like the architecture and the excitement of being in a famous place. So then when I was applied for university, then I had the opportunity of going to Edinburgh University. Edinburgh University is one of the large cultural cities in the United Kingdom. So this was fulfilling this desire from my childhood, that I wanted to live in a famous place. Edinburgh is a very large cultural centre, particularly in the summer. There's many museums there of old paintings. They have there's many museums there where they have new and contemporary paintings, touring paintings. In the summertime, they have 1 month. They have what's called the Edinburgh Festival, when there's thousands of theatre programmes. People from hire a room and they do their theatre production. Mostly amateur, and there was some professional. So people from all over the world come to this particular festival, the Edinburgh Festival. And there's also music festivals, a drama festival, then there's comedy festivals. So much happening in the summer. So I was there for 5 years as a student. And then after finishing the student, then in due course, at the age of 30, I joined the temple. And I was on book distribution for 7 years, travelling Sankirtan. So we would go into different cities in the UK distributing Prabhupada's books. So this was a big surrender to me to join the temple, because I'd lost interest in the material world, but at the same time to do book distribution, I didn't like cities. And I found meeting people and interacting with people for me was a very great difficulty at that time. So when I would go on book distribution, we'd start at 10 o'clock in the morning and would finish at 6 o'clock at night. And in that time, sometimes I would only distribute 2 books. So all the time I was trying to tempt people, to stop people and to speak to people, say no, 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 all die like this. It's very difficult for the mind. That time is looking for a fruitive reaction, looking for some enjoyment, that you want to distribute books, so then you get some, at the end of the day there's a result. So I tolerated for 2 years, and after 2 years then there was some reciprocation. I started distributing books. That was a big surrender for me. So after 7 years of doing book distribution, I took rest one night after one travelling Sankirtan, and my Sankirtan leader came into the room just as we put the lights out, and he stuck his head round the door and he said, "Nityananda, you're going back to the temple tomorrow because Guru Maharaj is sending you to Vrindavan to perform seva there, Radha Banwihari temple at Kusum Sarovar." So the next morning I was on a train back to the temple, and 3 days later I was arriving in Delhi. It was at 9:45 at night, and it was 42 degrees centigrade, very hot. And I arrived at Kusum Sarovar at 3 o'clock in the morning, and the devotees there was the old Brajasi Pujari and his wife and my god sister, and they were sleeping on the Parikram path. It was very hot, too hot to sleep inside because the electricity is not very good. And there was mosquitoes there, and the Parikram was going, and many people were just walking past their feet. So I had arrived in Vrindavan, and it was some years later, and then I had the realization that Krishna had fulfilled my childhood desire. From the age of 3, I had wanted to live in a famous place. So through my endeavor, my surrender, Krishna had shown his love to me by this reciprocation. He was saying, "Now I will give you the most holy place, the most famous place. You serve there." So this is why I love Vrindavan. It was a loving gift from Krishna. Hare Krishna.